Hey Jose,
Yes.
what do you think we'll get done today?
Finish the sheathing, and probably gonna start with a new wall.
So instead of doing collar ties, if you're doing a cathedral ceiling, it's a good idea to check with your engineer to see if L30s or L50s will work at the ridge to rafter connection. But those L50s, the reason why we use those is because they're 2x8s and it just adds a lot more stability. So sheathing's also going to do the same thing. It's going to prevent this thing from rocking back and forth. So you notice back here we're adding double rafters here where the chimney is. So pretty much the same thing with the chimney down there on the ground with the joists. We double up around it so that way it reduces all the load from bearing down on that frame. So what Charlito's doing is he's removing the soffits from the existing house. This is so we can run that interior wall inside the porch straight up the cathedral ceiling. That's a siesta. So unfortunately I don't have my drone, so I can't get any aerial shots today. Yesterday on the job site at the end of the day, I had a little accident. I broke the arm on my drone, but fortunately enough, DJI replacement parts are pretty cheap and they get here pretty quick. Not quick enough though, so the rest of this framing job is gonna have to be shot from the GoPro. Looking good. Still got a lot of work to do. So we got another change order for deck board skirting. The siding is going to come down to the bottom of the band. Now, from the bottom of the band down, we're going to be putting skirting. So I brought some beam hangers. Engineers will definitely want to see those on there. The sheathing gets put here so that way it's flush with the outside of the columns. Oh yeah, my favorite part. Let's take out all those temp supports and bracing. Definitely be done with the roof today. Last bit of sheathing's going up. Fly rafter's up. Let me show you what that is. This is the fly rafter. Pretty much matches the sub fascia. You nail it into the outside rafter that's flush with the frame of the porch. So the house is going to get completely re-shingled. So that's why we're not really concerned with the shingles up in this area. The porch is going to be done today, and I got the shingles scheduled for tomorrow. All the vapor barrier will be laid down tonight, ready for the roofer tomorrow. So that's the ridge post that's bearing down most of that roof load onto the exterior wall of this house. The other bearing point for the ridge is up there in the front. Most of the load of the rafters are going to be bearing down on the header down here. We're going to get all this trash removed tomorrow. I'm going to bring my dump trailer and get all this load up before we finish the framing portion of the job. Throughout the job, there's several trips of the dump that we have to take. So I got to get my dump trailer in here typically 1 or 2 times before we finish framing, just to make sure that the property stays nice and clean. So when framing up a knee wall or a half wall, you gotta make sure you follow typical framing code. You get a top plate, a bottom plate, and then your studs. Your studs can be 16 on center, just as usual. This is acting as a guardrail as well as a half wall that you can run electrical through for conveniency of putting lights anywhere in the porch. Over here on this side, we're gonna be doing a half wall here on this half, and then a full wall on this half. The guys got their hands full today. More than likely, they should have everything done with the porch frame and sheathing up on the walls. The only thing left for them to do tomorrow is gonna be doing the landing and the stairs. I'm gonna leave these guys to it and check back in with them at the end of the day and see what their progress looked like. Looks like they got the half walls done. It's really important that when you mount a television to a wall that you hit some kind of timber, whether that is a stud or whether that's blocking. Since we don't have drywall that we're working around, we go ahead and block this thing up so that way you have a lot more room to hook that mount up to the wall without having to worry about not hitting any kind of framing. Now comes the fun part, where we get to get the electrician in here. We're gonna get all this insulated. We're gonna get the wall built here, trim this thing out real nice. There's gonna be a lot of drywall in here. All this siding that you see behind me, it's all coming out. The client particularly wanted drywall to make it feel more like an interior room rather than an exterior porch. This is a sunroom. There's gonna be a mini split. There's gonna be the single pane windows that slide horizontally. There's gonna be a lot of really nice features in this porch that's gonna be making this thing really nice and comfortable to be in. The mini split particularly is one of my favorite elements inside of a covered porch, especially when you got enclosed windows. It really does change the feel and the environment inside this thing. We're gonna be putting insulation in underneath the floor and between the floor joists. We're gonna be putting insulation inside the ceiling between the rafters, and we're gonna be putting insulation in the half walls. So this thing should stay pretty cool during the summer and pretty warm during the winter. So that's a wrap for today. We're gonna come back tomorrow, get the rest of the stairs built, decked up, and get that railing done. Thanks for watching the video. There's still a lot more to come. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you know when we post our next video.